Why do men die earlier than women? On average, across almost every country in the world, men live about 6 years less than women. 6 years might not sound like much, but when you imagine 6 birthdays missed, 6 extra summers not lived, 6 years of stories and experiences gone, it suddenly feels huge. I found this question so fascinating that I couldn't stop digging into it. And what I discovered shocked me. It's not just about bad habits, dangerous jobs, or risky lifestyles, though those do matter. There's something deeper inside our biology that plays a powerful role. It comes down to a special gene, one that scientists call the longevity gene. And here's the kicker. Women naturally get a head start with it, but men can still hack it. In this video, I'm going to take you on a deep dive. Why men live shorter lives. Why women tend to live longer. What the FOXO3 longevity gene actually does. How you, whether male or female, can switch it on. And the lifestyle mistakes that shut it down, cutting years off your life. So stick with me until the end, because this isn't just information. It could literally add years to your life. Part 1. Why men die younger. Let's start with the obvious stuff. When we look at the data, men across the world consistently die earlier than women. Why? There are a few common reasons. Risky jobs. Men historically, and even today, take jobs that are physically dangerous. Construction, mining, logging, firefighting, military, heavy industry. These careers expose them to accidents, toxins, and stress that women are less likely to face. Doctor avoidance. Men are famously reluctant to go to the doctor. Surveys show that women are about 33% more likely to schedule routine checkups. Men often wait until a problem becomes severe. By then, it's sometimes too late. Lifestyle choices. Men smoke more, drink more alcohol, and are statistically more prone to reckless behavior. All of that adds up to higher rates of accidents, lung disease, and liver problems. Cardiovascular disease. Here's a big one. Men are much more likely to suffer heart attacks and strokes earlier in life. Women tend to get them too, but usually later, often after menopause when estrogen protection fades. Now, this explains part of the gap. But here's the twist. Women also face serious health challenges. Autoimmune diseases like lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and multiple sclerosis are much more common in women. These are lifelong chronic conditions. Yet despite all this, women still live longer. So what's going on here? Part 2, the longevity gene, FOXO3. Here's where things get really fascinating. There's a gene called FOXO3. Scientists often nickname it the longevity gene because it's directly linked to lifespan. In fact, in studies across populations, people who live past 100 years old almost always have more active versions of this gene. So what does FOXO3 do? Think of it as your body's built-in repair and survival system. It helps protect against cancer by controlling cell growth. It supports DNA repair, fixing damage that would otherwise accumulate as we age. It increases stress resistance, helping your cells survive tough conditions. It boosts the body's ability to adapt to environmental challenges like temperature shifts, hunger, and toxins. In short, FOXO3 is like the captain of your body's anti-aging squad. And here's the catch. Women have it more active than men. Part 3. Estrogen and longevity. Why is FOXO3 more active in women? The answer is estrogen. This female sex hormone doesn't just regulate reproduction, it also acts as a powerful activator of the longevity gene. When estrogen levels are healthy, FOXO3 gets switched on more strongly, giving women's cells better repair, resilience, and survival. That's one of the reasons women naturally outlive men. But don't worry, men, estrogen isn't the only switch. There are many other ways to trigger this gene, and both sexes can take advantage of them. We'll get to those in a moment. Part 4. Lessons from longevity. Cultures. Let's zoom out for a second. Around the world, there are rare regions known as blue zones, places where people regularly live past 90 or even 100. The most famous ones are Okinawa, Japan Sardinia, Italy Icaria, Greece Nicoya, Costa Rica, Loma Linda, California, Seventh-day Adventist Community. Guess what scientists found when they studied these populations? The FOXO3 gene is much more active here. People in these regions live lifestyles that naturally switch on their longevity genes, without even knowing it. They eat antioxidant-rich foods, practice fasting, stay physically active, face environmental stress in healthy ways, and maintain strong community bonds. So, the big question, how can you activate your own FOXO3 gene? Part 5. How to activate the longevity gene. Let's break this down into practical steps. Phytonutrients. Certain plant and natural compounds act like fuel for FOXO3. Astaxanthin. This is a reddish-orange pigment found in fatty fish like salmon, trout, mackerel, and shrimp. It's one of the most powerful antioxidants in the world, 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C and 100 times stronger than vitamin E. It protects your brain, eyes, skin, and heart. Sulforaphane, found in cruciferous vegetables, cabbage, broccoli, radish leaves, turnip greens. It fights cancer, reduces inflammation, and boosts detoxification. EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate. The star compound in green tea. It lowers blood sugar, protects against cancer, and has powerful anti-inflammatory effects. Resveratrol, found in grapes, red wine, and peanuts. This one directly switches on FOXO3, extending lifespan in animal studies. Imagine adding just these foods into your daily diet: fish, greens, green tea, grapes. That's like pressing the longevity button inside your cells. Cold and heat exposure. Now here's an unusual but powerful trigger: temperature stress. Cold showers, ice baths, or even spending time in a sauna can activate FOXO3. Why? Because humans evolved in environments where extreme heat and cold were normal. Our bodies had to adapt. In doing so, they developed stress response genes like FOXO3. When you expose yourself to these controlled stresses today, you reactivate that survival switch. That's why athletes and biohackers swear by cold plunges and sauna sessions. It's not just mental toughness, it's cellular survival. Intermittent fasting. This might be the most powerful lifestyle hack of all. Intermittent fasting is like giving your body a taste of ancient famine. Throughout human history, food was never guaranteed. Periods of hunger forced our bodies to adapt and survive. FOXO3 was built for exactly these conditions. When you fast, even for 16 hours a day, you reduce insulin levels, activate autophagy, cellular cleanup, trigger longevity genes like FOXO3. In simple terms, fasting tells your body, hey, food is scarce. Let's go into repair mode and survive longer. Sunlight. Here's one you might not expect. UV light from the sun. Yes, too much sun can cause damage, but moderate. Healthy exposure actually stimulates FOXO3. It also boosts vitamin D, which plays countless roles in immunity and longevity. The problem today is we spend 90% of our lives indoors. Screens, offices, cars. Our ancestors didn't do that. They lived under the sun, activating survival pathways that we're now missing out on. So, the takeaway, don't fear the sun, use it wisely. Part 6. Things that shut down FOXO3 now. We've seen how to activate the gene. But here's the dark side. Many modern habits actually suppress FOXO3, shortening lifespan. Let's go through them. Chronically high insulin. If you have type 2 diabetes or constantly eat high sugar foods, your insulin stays elevated. This directly suppresses FOXO3 over time. That's why diabetics often face shorter lifespans. Chronic stress. Short-term stress, like exercise, cold showers, or fasting, makes us stronger. But chronic stress, the kind that never ends, shuts down FOXO3. Your body is constantly in fight-or-flight mode, and longevity genes never get a chance to switch on. Eating more than your body needs every single day switches off survival pathways. FOXO3 evolved to help us during scarcity, not abundance. Overeating confuses the system and speeds up aging. Electromagnetic fields, EMFs. Radiation from phones, Wi-Fi, and electronic devices may interfere with cellular processes. While the research is still emerging, early studies suggest EMFs can damage DNA and reduce stress resilience. FOXO3 is one of the first defenses against this, but constant exposure may overwhelm it. Endocrine disruptors. This one's scary. Chemicals like pesticides, plastics, and heavy metals mimic estrogen in the body. They trick your system, causing hormonal imbalances. And because FOXO3 is sensitive to estrogen signals, these fake hormones block the real ones from activating it. That means the gene stays suppressed. Worse, these disruptors build up in our bodies over time, silently damaging health. Part 7. Why Nature Protects Women. Let's zoom out again. Why did nature design it this way? Why give women extra protection? The answer lies in reproduction. For most of human history, survival of the species depended heavily on women being able to survive long enough to bear and raise children. Evolution favored extra protective genes in women, ensuring their bodies could endure difficult times. Men, on the other hand, were biologically expendable after reproduction. Harsh but true. Evolution didn't prioritize longevity in men the same way. But here's the good news. Now that we understand the science, men can hack the system. By adopting the right lifestyle, both men and women can maximize FOXO3 activation and extend their lives. Part 8. Practical Longevity. Blueprint all right. Let's put this all together into a practical blueprint you can follow. Daily habits to boost FOXO3. Eat phytonutrient-rich foods. Fish, cruciferous veggies, green tea, grapes. Practice intermittent fasting, 16-8, or even occasional 24-hour fasts. Expose yourself to natural stress, cold showers, sauna, or temperature contrast. Get moderate sun exposure daily. Sleep well, because FOXO3 also activates during deep rest. Things to avoid chronic overeating, constant sugar spikes, long-term stress without recovery, excessive EMF exposure, use speakerphone, limit overnight device use. Pesticide-heavy foods, go organic where possible. Part 9. Closing thoughts. So why do men die earlier? Yes, dangerous jobs, poor habits, and healthcare avoidance all play a role. But the deeper truth is written in our genes. The FOXO3 longevity gene gives women a natural advantage thanks to estrogen. But nature didn't shut the door on men. It just made them work harder to earn longevity. The best part? You now know the triggers. You have the tools. Whether you're male or female, young or old, you can make choices today that turn on your body's survival mode. Imagine living not just longer but healthier. More energy, more resilience, more years with your loved ones. So, the next time you sip green tea, step into the sun, or finish a cold shower, remember, you're not just surviving the day. You're activating the same genes that have helped humans endure for thousands of years. And that, my friends, is the real secret to longevity. That's it for today's deep dive. If you found this eye-opening, share it with someone you love. Maybe it'll add years to their life, too. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss future videos. Take care of yourself, and here's to living longer, stronger, and healthier.